Before we kick off today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, can we get to 83,000 subs by the end of the year? New Year's Day is upon us. I can't believe 2023 is almost over. It's been a hectic year for the Bears, been a hectic year for me. You guys have been awesome with the support. If we get to 83,000, that would be an awesome way to end the year. We're just over 700 away. If you want the latest Bears news and rumors for free, if you want off-season coverage on a daily basis, most days, multiple videos per day, subscribe today. Spread the word to a Bears fan of yours. I would appreciate it. Let's dive into today's show. Playoffs? Probably not. But there is a path for the Chicago Bears. And I figured, hey, let's just have an informational video here. Let's break down the path for the Bears, see where things sit in the NFC Playoff Picture, and then we'll take a look at Bears-Falcons this week as well. So this is how the playoff picture sits right now. They did get to Week 17, not eliminated from the playoffs, so I suppose that's something, although 3 fourth-quarter collapses would suggest it should have been a lot more. Obviously, you look, the math is pretty simple there. You're 2 games back with 2 games to go. So if both the Rams and Seattle get to win number 9, that is eliminated. So hopefully that does not happen, at least this week. Hopefully at least one of those teams lose and these slight chances continue. There's also a lot of traffic there with teams with 7 wins. Right now, the Bears' playoff chances are 1% entering Week 17. If they win out, 4%. So let's be clear, very slim odds. You need a lot to go your way, but there is a path. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's pretty close to it. And what's frustrating is if you just won one of these games, 2 of these games, you should have won all 3. There's a stat out there that losing all 3 of these games was like 0.003% chance, and they pulled it off. I mean, it's incredible. You had 99% chance to beat Denver and Detroit. I think it was 92% chance at one point to beat Cleveland. Didn't get the deal done. If you won one of these and you went out, you'd probably be in the playoffs. Now you went out, you need crazy help. It's frustrating. It's why the coach might be fired. It's why you might change quarterbacks, but that's just the reality of the situation. But can't live in the past, so let's talk about what needs to happen for the Bears to get to the postseason. So let's take a look at Week 17 first. I mean, the first step in all this is the Bears have to take care of business. So obviously they have to beat the Falcons. And then these 2 things need to happen as well to have a realistic shot. Now, if only one of the Rams and Seahawks lose and the other wins, there's still like a 0.08% chance, 1% chance that if a ton of other stuff happens, you could get in. But you really need both of these to happen to have a realistic shot. You need the Giants to beat the Rams. Game is in New York, cross-country flight. You never know. Maybe the Rams come in sleepwalking, but they've been really good recently. Steelers in Seattle. It's going to be a tough cross-country flight for Seattle or Pittsburgh to win that game, but they didn't win last week. That's kind of a 50-50 type of game, although I'd give Seattle the edge. If those 3 results happen, the Bears win and both the Rams and Seahawks lose, then it jumps up to roughly 28% based on the New York Times playoff simulator entering Week 18. And you get to Week 18 with a 1-in-4 chance. Okay, I mean, at 7-9, that's all you can really ask for at that point. So let's just say that happens. Other notable games before we get to Week 18. Panthers at Jags. If the Panthers lose one of their final 2 games, that locks up the Bears' number 1 overall pick. So hopefully it just happens this week. Then we don't have to worry about it in Week 18. Packers at Vikings. There are slight percentage shifts depending on who wins that one. I think it's actually better if the Packers win because the Bears do play the Packers in Week 18 and can handle them head-to-head potentially. And then Saints at Buccaneers. There are potential percentage shifts there as well. Obviously, the Bears lost both those games head-to-head. It's better probably if the Bucs go ahead and win because they're already at 8 wins. Let them win the NFC South. New Orleans loses out. That gives you a better alternate avenue, if you will. Okay, Week 18. Needed results. The Bears have to beat the Packers, obviously. The Cardinals have to beat the Seahawks. This is when it's like, ugh. It is in Arizona. Seattle's been a wonky team. Do they play spoiler? Maybe. I doubt it, but you got that. 49ers over Rams. I mean, San Francisco losing to Baltimore means that they'll almost certainly have to play their guys in Week 18. That game is in San Francisco, by the way. So you feel like that's at least a good possibility that the 49ers would take care of business. If these three results happen after the ones in Week 17, well, now you're at 73% chance. And the reason it's not, clear 100% or zero because, there's different tiebreakers. There's also other games here. And if you add in these two, so the 6 results we've already talked about, the 2 Bears wins, the 2 losses for both the Rams and Seahawks, so that's 6 total games. If you add in these two, if the Lions beat the Vikings in Week 18, your playoff chances jump to 87%. If the Falcons beat the Saints in Week 18, you're in. It's 100%. Now, again, if one or both of these don't happen, you're still at 73%. There's just a lot more tiebreakers that come into play. There could be like 3 or 4 teams that you have to work through tiebreakers, but still pretty good odds there at 73%. But again, let me just simplify it for you. The Bears have to win out. Play Atlanta at home, Packers on the road. Obviously, if they lose either game, you're out. And both the Seahawks and Rams must lose out because when you look at the simulator, if you give the Rams or Seahawks a single win, obviously it gets them to 9, so you can't reach them. But even if only one of those teams gets to 9 and the other one stays at 8, the tiebreakers just don't work in the Bears' favor. It says less than 1%, which tells me probably goes to strength of victory, and the Bears just don't have it, which is why having those 3 fourth-quarter losses was brutal because most tiebreakers aren't going to fall in the Bears' favor. So they need Seattle and the Rams to lose out. They got to win out. If that happens, 3 3/4 chance of getting in. It's unlikely because the Seahawks play the Cardinals, who stink. The Rams play the Giants, who stink. At least those are both on the road, but I still do not expect anything crazy to happen there. But that is the Bears' playoff path if you are still hoping for an opportunity. What do I hope for? Just get to Week 18 with even the tiniest chance possible. That would at least give that Bears-Packers game a little more juice heading into the final week of the year. Which brings me to this question. Will the Bears enter Week 18 with a chance? Type Y for yes, type N for no, because, again, if both the Rams and Seahawks win this week, you're out, because that gets them both the 9 wins, and that all 3 wildcard teams are at 9. So you can't have them both win this week, otherwise you're mathematically eliminated. Y for yes, N for no. Your best chance of being at least slightly alive this week is probably Pittsburgh beating Seattle in Seattle, which is not going to be easy. So coming up, we got a Bears-Falcons preview. We got 5 things I'm keeping an eye on in this one, so stay tuned. But first, I do want to show some love to our sponsor, Rocket Money, a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel subscriptions you don't want anymore with just the press of a button. No more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. Rocket Money will do all of the work for you. So if you want to get rid of Netflix, if you want to get rid of Hulu or anything else, click the cancel button next to it on your list of subscriptions, and you are good to go. Rocket Money can even negotiate to lower your bills by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money will take care of the rest. 5 million users and counting have signed up with Rocket Money. Guess what? They're saving customers an average of $720 per year and over $1 billion in total savings. That is incredible, and I can attest to that. I'm saving tons of money every single month. I was allowed to be more frugal this Christmas because of it with my budget. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel those unwanted subscriptions and start managing your money the Rocket Money way. RocketMoney.com/Bears now. That link is in the comments and in the description. Use our link to download the app today. That supports us, and you're going to be supporting yourself with Rocket Money. All right, let's take a look at this week 17 matchup. Falcons at Bears. In a lot of ways, these teams have had some similar seasons where there was like cautious optimistic coming into the year, but it's also resulted in disappointing results, even though I don't think either fan base expected major things. They've kind of had some similar seasons. Falcons have QB questions, although I think the Bears one is a lot more difficult. I do think the Falcons would love to have Justin Fields. They're also probably going to fire their coach, Arthur Smith. Whereas the Bears might fire Matt Eberflus. So there's some parallels here, and the ultimate connection here is that Justin Fields could be the Falcons QB next year. We'll see if that happens, but Bears are, I think, 3-point favorites last time I checked at Soldier Field this Sunday at noon. Here are some things I want to see in this matchup. Can Khalil Herbert do it again? I would like to have some more clarity at the running back position going into the offseason because it's been very up and down. I told you guys before last week, I think you might have to make a somewhat notable move at running back because, it hadn't been good the last several weeks. Foreman had a good stretch, then he kind of slowed down. Khalil Herbert hadn't looked the same after the high ankle sprain. This is the best he had looked in a while. I still don't think he had that 100% burst. There were a couple runs where I'm like, oh, man, I feel like earlier in the year or last year, he gets more yards there. But he looked closer. He looked 90, 95%. He ran the ball well, 112 yards and a touchdown. I would give him the start again. He is under contract next year. Deontay Foreman is not. If Herbert can finish the year strong, then maybe you're content with him and Roschon. You add some kind of third running back, and you don't invest more than that at running back. But if you have questions there, maybe you consider a bigger investment at the position. You would prefer not to, but I want to see if Khalil Herbert can do it again this week. I would give him the start. Can a third weapon offensively do something, running backs aside? Outside of DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, can someone do anything? Like, seriously, Darnell Mooney, can you do something? And maybe some of that's on Justin Fields. They've been off all year. Can Tyler Scott make a play? I had a bold prediction last week. Hey, he's going to get a bunch of targets, have 4 or 5 catches. No targets. How is that possible? Velus Jones, I don't really care who it is. I'd prefer it not to be a Mercedes Lewis touchdown. I love Mercedes Lewis, but I'd love to see a young guy show something, be something for next year. DJ Moore and Cole Kmet are the only playmakers. And by the way, both are banged up right now. So I would much prefer someone else decide, hey, I can make some plays too. So we'll see if that can happen. That's something I want to see. How about a Terrell Smith interception? He's really putting together a nice rookie season. He missed 3 or 4 weeks with mono in the middle of the year, which kind of sucked, but came back. They've kind of been platooning him and Tyreek Stevenson, which usually I wouldn't be a fan of, but both have played well. They seem to embrace it and build off each other's success. I mean, you look at Terrell Smith's PFF grades. He's played just under 300 snaps. Tyreek definitely plays more snaps, but he's getting like 30% of the snaps or so in these games recently. Overall grade, good. Coverage, pretty good. He's a willing tackler. He's got 5 breakups. The only thing missing on his rookie campaign is an interception, and he's been close a couple times, so I'd like to see him get one late in the year. I think that would be a good reward for him. 5th-round rookie. I mean, this is a really good pick for Ryan Poles, the value. I mean, he's an excellent number 4 corner. I'm still very much in the camp of keep Jalen Johnson. I'm seeing some of Bears Twitter. Well, maybe you tag and trade him, and you roll with Stevenson and Smith on the outside, and Kyler in the slot. To me, you don't get rid of a young lockdown number 1 corner like Jalen Johnson is. I like Terrell Smith. I like Tyreek Stevenson, but corner is also a position where you like to have depth. I would not do that. I would keep Jalen Johnson. That being said, I want to see Terrell Smith continue to get opportunities, and hopefully he can get an interception here. How about another rookie getting being part of a takeaway? Javon Dexter forced fumble. He's been coming on as of late. Since Montez Sweat came on board, he's played a lot better, getting a dominant player next to him. I'd like to see him make an impactful play in this game. Get home, get to Taylor Heineke, and strip sack him. That is what I would like to see. That would be awesome. I think, like Smith, that would be a nice reward for him for getting a little bit better throughout the season. And that could also send a message to Ryan Poles like, hey, maybe this is the 3 technique for the future. And then, I wanted to save the quarterback for last. I'd like to see Justin Fields show out. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We're going to continue to talk about the latest rumors. Obviously, there's going to be, reports that come out, speculation out there. We're going to discuss it all. But this could be the end. And if it is, this is his final game at Soldier Field. That's very much a possibility, at least as the Bears quarterback. He, of course, should come back for another team and play here in the future. But look, just embrace this for what it is, Justin. If by some tiny chance you're watching this video, I hope you soak it in, because there's a lot of us out there that believe in you. There's a lot of us out there that want you to be the guy, that have wanted you to, that still want you to. But there's also a scenario out there where the Bears move on. And I hope he goes out with a bang. I hope he balls out and torches Atlanta. And the ultimate irony would be torching Atlanta and then Atlanta saying, that's who I want. Would that not be ironic? He's from Georgia. it would knock the Falcons essentially out of playoff contention, and they might sit there and say, well, we need a quarterback like that. Let's go trade for him. I hope he balls out. I would like nothing more for him, whether that means he gets to stay here long term or whether that means this is kind of his last hurrah at Soldier Field. The future is the future. We don't know what's going to happen, but I do hope he plays really well this Sunday. What do you guys think? Not what you want, what you think. Will this be Justin Fields' final game at Soldier Field as the Bears quarterback? I'm sure even if he gets traded, he'll come back and play or someday, maybe even next year, depending on the schedule. Will this be his final game? What do you guys think at Soldier Field? Type 1 for yes. Type 0 for no. Let us know in the comments section down below. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Very slim playoff chances, but if the Rams and Seahawks both lose this week, we officially are on Week 18 watch. Technically, if just one of them lose, there's still a tiny scenario in Week 18, although it is far-fetched. If that happens, we'll have those scenarios in a video for you guys next week as well. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I am Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button for more videos.